This video that I'm about to make, I just want to make it clear my dad had every right to his opinion. My dad was being a good father. He was trying to be a good dad. But let's go back to 1982. I was 19 years old, and my first cousin had bought himself a brand new. Now, my first cousin, Randy, he was 3 years older than me, so he'd been in the workforce longer. And he bought himself a brand new Pioneer stereo system, and he had it in his bedroom. And he asked me if I wanted his old Pioneer stereo system. I said, yeah. So they bring it up, glass doors, mint condition, big speakers, Pioneer headphones. The headphones was so good that you could take them half off your ears and you still got full stereo. Really nice outfit. And one evening I was listening to the radio, the music, rock and roll, heavy, any whatever the station back then was playing. My dad walks into my bedroom and he makes this comment. He says, "Son," he tells me this. He said, "That rock and roll music is not good for you." Now, my dad wouldn't like a Dr. Phil. No. My dad would tell you and he would leave. He didn't stand there and explain himself. My dad wouldn't that way. Well, not good for me. One thing he did forget, about 10 years prior, when I was 10 years old, I had Aunt Endora nightmares from Bewitched, the TV show. And I think I was still technically normal. That hadn't hurt me except for some nightmares. So how is rock and roll music going to do any worse? But he didn't mention the nightmares, no. He just said, "Son, quote, son, that rock and roll music is not good for you," unquote. Not well, it's been 43 or 44 years. And since that time, there's been MTV. Now there's YouTube. I've watched and listened to hundreds of thousands of music videos, from heavy metal to regular rock and roll contemporary. And I think I'm still normal. I still got good morals. I've never did drugs. I don't drink. I don't smoke. So how is it not good for me when nothing's happened? I'm still doing the math on that 43, 44 years later. I think you got to have a sick mind in the first place. I've had people to tell me, well, maybe your dad was jealous because your cousin gave you a stereo system. Maybe your dad was being mean and he did not want you to enjoy it. Maybe your dad, he wanted to break your enjoyment. I don't think so. I think he was just being a father with his opinion. You might be right 1%, but I don't think so. I'm thinking 99%. He just expressing his opinion. He was just being a father. There's no parent. You have kids. You're not a perfect parent. My dad wasn't a perfect parent. My mom was not a perfect parent. There's no such thing as perfect parents. You just hone your skills. But I mean, it's rock and roll has never hurt me. So when my dad said, and he had every right, not good for you, quote unquote. That's such a broad area. How is it not good for me? I'm still trying to understand that. And I'm saying this with all respect to my dad. He had every right, but it's the way he said it. Not good for me. Well, after 43 or 44 years, do I look and act normal to you? I think TV does more damage in shows and programs than rock and roll music ever did think about doing. I think rock and roll music is the least of our worries. And I've watched hundreds of, maybe a millions of music videos, rock and roll, heavy metal. I love music videos. You name it, I've seen it. So, and I think I'm still normal. And I'm not making fun of my dad, no. It just tickles me the way he said it back in 1982. It just it's like a weatherman trying to predict the weather 40 years down the road. Oh God.